Mm. Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is 2 p.m. and we are live. We are live. We are live. Things are really going to be getting interesting here. Right now, things are really going to be interesting here. I'm checking gold right now. But if you're really joining this, let me just know in the chat. Who is here, and make sure that you like. That is what we do once you join this stream. I hope my sound is okay. I hope my sound and everything is okay before we proceed. I hope everything is really fine. I hope everything is fine. Hello, Forex gigs. How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm best. I'm best. I'm doing very fine here. I hope my laptop, I'm using the laptop right now. I hope it's not going to bring some chaos. Thank you so much. Kirpat, I see you. Thank you so much. Dismas, I'm here. Baunik, hello, how are you doing? Musa is here, how are you doing? The sound is okay. Thank you very much. Now, I want us to be very quick because we just have 1 hour. And make sure that you drop all your questions because I'm going to be answering these questions for free. You see now what you need to do is this. If you actually been having this kind of questions that you want to ask them, ask all the questions in the chat right now. Patrick Womboy, you are welcome. We are starting right now. There's something I want us to notice right here. I hope everything is really very fine. But because I'm using a PC here, I know there are some people watching this using the phone. All you just have to do is tap the full screen and then you go to the setting and switch to the highest resolution. Can be, I think I'm streaming with the 1080p, so make sure that you move to the 1080p. Is really going to be helping you so much on that. All right, let me refresh this so that we get something good. Now I want us to have some good analysis on gold, on what we expect on the gold. Then of course we're going to move again to either currencies and US stock indices. That is what we're going to check right now before anything else. All right, so I want us to have these things of the gold and why the market is really moving like that, because before even that I want to bring this to your attention that today is going to be very critical. And I know for those who are going to be trading in the market, maybe today and tomorrow, you're going to see the market absolutely, market moving slightly not that volatile. The market is not really going to be, you're going to see the market slower, because of hand rate and form meeting, of course. That is what you're going to see, and as you can see, actually gold, it is not that, it's not moving as usual. I know you are checking on that, right? I hope we are not going to be, I don't know why I'm getting something like this. Let me use the trending view for this. I hope this is not the app. Let me use this because I have some settings on the other side. So I said make sure that you walk with us through your pre-trend entry, what you look for priorities. Thank you. Actually, that is a very nice question. That's a very nice question. When you are actually asked about that, that is actually a very nice question. That's a very nice question. Because preparation comes before anything else. Preparation comes before anything else. Preparation is everything. Preparation is actually everything. All right. Preparation is actually everything. Now, I want us to check on this. I know there's some people waiting. I know there's anxiety of gold is actually going to hit 6,000. We are going to hit all new high. That is most of the things that investors and us actually we're just waiting to see, like gold hitting all new highs. And that's why in the previous videos that we have made, when we were checking on the options and futures on the market, we actually came to realize that there is very high implied volume towards below 4,000, towards below 4,000, all right? And that's why you see now it was very active at those areas. For those who are new here, don't be worried. We're going to discuss that so that you may know the future of this market. Yesterday and the other day, I actually I was drawing this one. This is actually the trend line that you need to focus on anytime you are drawing, anytime you are trading, anytime you have an intimate with any pair, anytime you are married to a pair, you know, long-term marriage, right? Like for example, on gold, you need to check on the highest time frame because you need future. You need to know what is actually going to be happening in the future. And when you look at the gold right now, this is what you see. This is what you see, and you cannot actually ignore this. You cannot ignore this. Look at that. From all-time high, it touched the other point and through other point, this being 4-hour time frame. So if you're going to ignore those touches, then it's going to be a very big problem. And I know you're not going to see that well because it is zoomed out. That's why you can see this is almost, this was actually January 2026. This is almost a half of, this is actually 6 months period. Look at that trend. 4-hour time frame. If you're going to move to daily time frame, you're going to see the same thing on how the market has actually been moving. But 4-hour time frame is already enough for us on this case, all right? So that is what you see right now. Now, keep your questions coming, and then this is the first thing that you need to check. So the one who was asking, how do you prepare? You need to understand how the market has actually been moving. And today I want us to see whether we can have a signal. We want to see whether we can actually move until we get something from gold right now that is actually going to push us maybe before Friday, right? But there's something I just mentioned here because you need to understand why the market, I think I closed all the windows because I think I had all the windows open, all the windows open. Now, remember what you normally do for the first thing that when you join this live is you make sure that you relax. You make sure that you relax and relax. Now, today is on Tuesday. Today is Tuesday. Today is on Tuesday. So today is on Tuesday. Tomorrow we are getting the rate that is on Wednesday. So between today and tomorrow, because of this rate, and actually there are some the rate hikes, actually the expectation, you know, there's also expectation for the rate hikes and dovish, and you understand the cutting of the interest rate right now where we are sitting at 3.75. There is that 8%, there's that 8% chance that they're actually going to hike the interest rate. I think if you really check on the previous CPI, the CPI has actually been moving up. And this is something, these are very simple things actually to just follow. I'm just summarizing it because you already know that. Like how the US as economy actually been doing, consider also the US dollar, because you know, previously we have been talking about the oil prices, the Iran and the Israel war, and actually the oil prices. If actually you look at the gallon, the US oil itself, not actually the WTI. We are not talking about the WTI. We are not talking about the Brent oil. I'm talking about the US oil itself. The price of gallon is just like our petrol that we normally use. If that price actually moves up, there is a high guarantee that the price of the inflation is of course going to be moving up. But if you check on what was actually happening the beginning of this year, the inflation, that is actually what caused the inflation to actually even move all the way up. And that's why you see now we are talking about the chances of the interest rate hike of this one, at least to bring the inflation down. And there are a lot of things that you need to follow on this, because I don't need to teach you all these things in this video, in this live, because they are boring stuff. They are boring stuff sometimes, you know. But let me just summarize it. You see, this is a CPI that we are talking. This is the decision. This is the official decision that is of course going to be on Tuesday, on tomorrow. That is on Wednesday. Fund rate, right? That is important, but that is actually even not important as to why the FOMC meeting, why they actually decided to do that, right? And the future of that, Okay, this surprise, because you can see this is still 3.75, 3.75. If they actually hike by 25 basic point, remember it's actually going to be 4%, right? All right, it's going to be at least 4%. All right, there are a lot of things that are actually involved on this, and I think I've given a masterclass of 1 hour on CPI and those all sort of things on how they actually written, because this is the final decision. Now, this is, if we're actually going, because there is likelihood, it's either they maintain the interest rate at 3.75 or they put it to 4%. I don't think there's the chances for cutting the interest rate when the inflation are actually high at this moment. So the only chance we have is either maintain 3.75% or put it to 4%. That is the only chances that we have from this one. All right. Now, that is actually not very important, because that is not really very important, because this information normally moves the market within a short period, and then the market is always back to normal, right? But this is very important because, number one, it tells how the market is actually going to be reacting towards the decision, before the decision is actually going to be made, and before tomorrow. Before tomorrow, you need to be very careful. For example, if you're going to be trading tomorrow, you need to be very careful on that, because there's not going to be a liquidity into the market. Market is really going to be very slow to all currencies that are actually involved with dollar. That can be USD, JPY, mostly gold as well, Euro USD, those major pairs. We talk about major pairs, and once the major pairs are actually down, is almost the entire market is actually slow, right? So that is the one thing that we need to understand on this. I don't want to say that it's actually going to be 4% here, because the market can move of this. I'm not teaching these things because this is higher than what we can. If we are going to concentrate on this, it's going to take us 2 hours on how you really need to trend this professionally, right? But that is what we need to understand right now. Okay, let's get back to gold right now and see what we have. Number one, I said you need to check on the 4-hour time frame. Look at that. This is 4-hour time frame. Someone is asking which time frame is it. Joseph, this is 4-hour time frame. So on your chart, if you actually move right now to 4-hour time frame, this is what you're going to see. 4-hour time frame. This is what you're going to see. 4-hour time frame. Look at that. Look at that move. Look at that move on how gold is really moving. Can you really ignore that? Because gold, yes, it's trying to break. We are getting one thing here. This is what you are getting. You need to be very careful on what I'm saying here, because no matter what you're going to trend, if you actually ignore this, of course, you're going to lose. You're going to lose for a very long time. Okay, this is what you need to understand. You need to know the overall direction of the market. Okay, you need to know where the market is favoring, the direction where we are going to receive the favor of the market, right? What is happening to this market right now? If you check just that 4-hour time frame, it tells you a lot of information. It tells you a lot. Number one, it tells you, that's how the market is moving. It's just raging, and the market is actually moving down. That is a statement that you get from 4-hour time frame. Number two, the market is actually moving like on these upper trend lines here, and the market is actually trying to move on the upper side. Okay, the market is, of course, yes, moving down, but it is trying to break the upper side. It's actually trying so much to break on the other side. Number three, once this market actually moves down, there are a lot of people there are so many orders that are actually coming up in this market. Like, for example, if this market is going to move like this, I'm going to actually to like put this bigger screen so that you can just see it. Let me zoom in so that you can see. Now on this one, right? So if this market, for example, is going to move like this is what you're getting from this. Like, once this market moves like that, then it tells you one thing, that this market is actually going to jump very quickly towards the upper side. That is what you're getting, and that is the name that we gave the short. Like, the name short is actually derived from the market that does not last long on the short. So if you see gold actually moving towards 3,000 200, just know that is actually not going to last that long, because of course that is what happening. Look at what has actually happened across these areas here. Look at that. Once the market is actually dropping so much, so big here with these sharp candles that we have here, once it touches this, it moves quickly all the way to the top. But look at this place here. Look at how it keep developing and taking time to move up. It takes time to move. It takes time to move up. But when it comes to the short, the market generally moves down, and then it eventually, like in a second, the market actually just start moving up. And that is a very good statement to tell you, number one, you need to look on which number of owners are actually done, because we have investors, we have big traders who are thinking now that when the gold price actually comes down, that is cheap. So we are talking about the price here. Now the price is cheap, and that's why you see once the price actually comes down, the market is buying quickly. The market is buying quickly. I need you to connect with this information so that when we actually move to other information, like when we talk about bigger orders on futures and options, this is a statement that you need to put. This is the kind of reasoning that you need. This is the kind of reasoning that you need, because if you're going to see now, when you're trading on the options, you actually expand it, and you're going to see several orders actually placed across those areas, then of course it is correct. Most of the time when you use the depth of the market, or you are going to be using heat maps, there's another heat map apart from the one on the CME, right? The one that is going to show you the limit orders. You're going to see several limit orders all the way far ahead, and those are actually limit orders that are buy limit, because people know that once the market actually drops very fast towards those areas, then gold is actually going to buy. And that is the reason, and that is what can really happen to this market. So it's very simple. If you're seeing gold actually moving towards 3,500 today, it's actually almost a guarantee to tell you that buy, because that is what, of course, that is what is going to happen to this. So you need to be smart on that. You need to be smart on that, right? Because that is what's really happening to this, and eventually one day gold is actually going to buy all the way to the top. That is 4-hour time frame. That is what you need, because this is what now we call time frame alignment. You need to understand different time frames on what information can you gain from each time frame. Okay. Number two, let's just move to what I normally check when it comes now to the 1-hour time frame, because trust me, this is my execution. This is my everything. This is my everything. This is my everything. 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame is what I have. 1-hour time frame is my thing. 1-hour time frame is my thing here. So right now I'm focusing on one value. I'm going to be focusing on this area here. I'm going to be telling you why, then we can continue analysis, because we can be late on this and then the market touches that area and the market reverses. So we are going to be targeting apart from this area here. You see this region that we have. I'm going to be targeting this area here, which is 40.75. Then I have this area here. I have this area. What? I have this region. Actually, this market has not covered this area here. I was waiting for this area here to sell at least from this zone here around 40.75, but you're going to see more of this. These are the areas that you need to always mark. These are the areas that you are supposed to be marking every time. All right, so now let's talk about this. Which are areas that you need to mark? Which are the most important areas that you need to mark on this? You need to mark where we have previous support. You need to mark where we have the previous rejections and the support. That is the most important in this case here. For example, I need to mark here. I need also to mark this area. You can see here we end where we got this market creating a gap here, and you can see what happened. Can you see what happened around this area here? The market actually trying to come back all the way to this area here. Then it is back again after touching 40.50. But you're going to check all those areas, all right? All you just need is to mark these areas, okay? The other areas that you need to mark is the support areas and the resistance. In case maybe there is a trend line, you need also to mark those areas. So let's see what else we need to mark. I want to see if we can get yeah, so you need to mark this. Look at that. Look at this. I want us to mark this. You just need to draw these regions that you see here. You need to mark this. Aha. Can you see that? So once you start marking like this, then you're going to see the market clearly. Trust me, you're going to see things clearly, like never before. Then the next area that you need to mark is this one, 39.50, 39.50 from this region here. So kindly, if you're joining this, ensure that you like, follow me as well here. Follow me right now. In case you have any question, leave it on the chat right now. Make sure that you do that. There's another support line here, so you need to mark this region here. It's very important because you can see around this zone here, we have been receiving. I know we have different people who use different strategies. I know there is ICT guys, those people who say order blocks, structure people use this. So once you mark regions that like these ones, then you are going to understand how the market moves. You're going to understand how the market moves like before. Do you know there's another one here? Do you know there's another one here? This is another area here, a support line. There's another one here, my friend. That is the only thing that you need. This is my strategy I'm sharing here. So you follow me right now. That's the most important thing you need to do. Now, once I have something like this, then of course it is very easy for me now to, it's actually very easy now for me now to know where the market is actually going to be moving. It's actually very easy now for me to know where the market is moving. And since this is our now time frame, you don't need to focus on a bigger moves. You need to now focus on just a small pips, but not that small pips. You can focus on 20 point, 30 point. Then that is really going to be very amazing, right? 20 point, I mean, if the gold is trading at 40.30, then you need to focus 40.50. Okay, those are the point. In gold, we don't talk about pips because gold does not have pips. Pips is for currencies. Now that is what I'm talking about. Now after marking this area, then I realized that this area here across 40.40 is actually going to be very important. So once this market touches this around 40.40 right now, because we are trading at 40.30, almost to 40.30, although there's a low liquidity until tomorrow when we receive the news about this, because it's almost like, I think almost tomorrow traders are actually going to move almost 50-50. There's chances for a hike, a surprise or not, because that 8% is actually very high right now. And that's why you see now the market is actually going to low liquidity because people are going actually to be fearing this. All right, that is what is actually happening. Now the next target that we have is actually around 40.40. Around 40.40 here, from 40.40, that's the area that you can actually have a sell across this area here. So in case I'm going to sell from 40.40. My stop loss to be around $20 up. $20 if you want, that is going to be around 63. This area here, 63, and then I'm going to be focusing on this, which is actually going to be 4,000. All right. So that's actually going to be 1 is equal to 2. 1 ratio 1 is equal to 2. And 1 is equal to 2. Why are we selling like that? Why are we selling like that? Okay. Why are we selling? It's because if you look at this region right here, that is how the market is actually moving right now, that we are moving down. The market, after touching our biggest time frame, which is actually on the trend line, that is actually on 4-hour time frame, then look at how the market is actually moving, and there's chances this market will actually continue even to move all the way down from that. But after this move that actually happened across this area here, that is on the problem that we have here. After this big move, that massive sell that actually happened from 40.72 all the way to 40.47, there was no clear things to actually fill this gap that was actually created across this area here. That's why I created that a possibility. Once this market actually hit this, there's a likelihood that you're going to be hitting at least 40.75 before the market comes down. All right, so you need to technically analyze the market well. You need to technically analyze the market well before you move to anything else. That is what you are really checking on this, right? That is what you are checking here. So what else do we have? What else do we have on gold? What else do we have on gold right now? You know, actually, even scalping is actually even the easiest thing than the swing trading. But of course, swing trading has more advantage though. But we are going also to check that to see whether we can still have that one. So the area that I'm going to be targeting, I'm not going, that is going to be a sell position, but that is what we are going to be having in case the market is actually going to be touching that right now. That is what the area that we're going to be focusing on. But remember, that is just one of it. So I'm going to check on a quick strike here on this intraday on the gold and see the areas that are really very important. And number one, you can see we have 4,000. That is 4,000. We have high contract here for the put on the 4,000. So if you check on the 4,000 that we marked, is it reflecting on our side? Is it on our side here, 4,000? Let's see. I want to see if the 4,000 is here. This is the 4,000. The 4,000 that we said that in case you're going to sell, this is the 4,000 that we're talking about. And you can see there's high activity around that area here. So this is the 4,000 we're talking about. So if this market moves to 40, 43, 40, 44, across between 40, 43 and 40, 50, that is the zone that I'm going to be selling, and our TP is going to be 4,000. Okay, our TP is actually going to be 4,000. On the next strike, on the upper side above, we can see this is the area of 40.25. Matters a lot. This is another zone of 40.50. So on the futures, if that is 40.50, of course, now it tells us is between 40.43 and 40.50. That is the region that I'm going to be focusing for a sell. That is going to be around this area here. So this is actually validated that this is the area that I'm actually going to have in case this market actually comes to this. Remember, now I have two entries, this, and in case this market actually comes to this area here. All right, because if this market hit my stop loss across this area here, then of course I'm going to have still this entry here of 40.70. all right. Now let me put it like that so that you see how I'm actually going to be putting it like that. So that is what I'm going to have. I'm going to be focusing on 4,000. Then my stop loss is going to be 40.60 across that area here. 40, actually this is 40.60, 40.61. The risk reward ratio is true. That means I'm getting 20 point up. That is stop loss, and then TP is actually 40 points, 43 points. So that is really very nice. So that is very nice. So that is what we have. So that is the area that I'm waiting to see the gold moving. So if you really move to 15-hour time frame like that, this is what you're going to see. This is what you're going to see. Look like that. Look at that. Look at that. So that is the first entry that we get. The next entry point is when the market actually will be coming to 40.75. 40.75. So on 4075, I'm going to check this here. Forgive me, I'm not actually, we are finding signals, this is not a part of indication. If you really want to understand more about this, you can watch the previous videos. You're going to understand this in a very easy way, right? Let me move first of all to gamma and see what we have. Let me expand this because I know you can't see it. Now, if you look at this is 4,100. We have 4070 that we'll be talking about, but this is 0 DTE. That is not our concern. So I'm focusing on 4,100. That is very far. Right now, I need to improve this and put 25 strikes. That is 25 strikes. Yeah, you can see this is another proof of a change that can actually happen across that area here. We have 40-40 and 40-50. So that is still very nice. Once this market actually comes to that region, high likelihood that we're going to change that is really going to happen. So that is still valid across this area here. So that is what can happen. So that is first entry. This is the first entry that you can have. That is the first entry. This is the first entry that we get. That is the first entry for 40-43. 40-43. Now you may be asking me why don't we sell from that point? Why are we not selling? Why are we not buying? Because the market is moving up. I'm going to give you the reason. You cannot buy because you see this, the market has already moved up and created around that 32. So in case this was a gap to be filled, the market is still valid to continue moving down, because this is a gap, of course, been created around this area here, and a likelihood for the market to continue moving down. The only worry that I have on this market is because the market did not actually come all the way to this place here, like this one. Like for example, you can see creating this very big gap here. If you move to 15-hour time frame, you're going to see that candle is actually like big candle that you're going to be getting from that. So it's going actually to be more complicated if you're actually going to be checking that way, on that sense. All right, so that's the first entry that we have around this area here. Let me mark them. Let me mark those areas, so that when we continue talking, you can actually be observing those areas. It's really very important. That's why I've been very quick. Been very quick on that. Very quick on that. So we are going to be focusing on 40-43, 40-42. There's one thing that you need to realize. We don't sell any point. We don't sell at a specific areas. If you're going to be doing that, you're actually going to be doing a very big mistakes on whatever you're going to be trading. For you to have a sustainable strategy, smart entry, then the first thing that you need to focus on is regions. You need to graduate from point to regions. Don't wait for the market to come to 42, then you start selling. Our sell point is going to be focused on region. You sell from 43 all the way to 40-50. That is the best area that you can actually have. That is the best thing that you can actually do in this market. Have a best region. Have best region, like the one that we have here, 42 all the way to 40-50. So I'm going to be subdividing my entries once the market comes all the way to that area. If this is actually supposed to be the normal day, the market is supposed to be moving quickly, like we are already supposed, the market is actually supposed to be hitting that. But because of tomorrow, the interest rate and FOMC meeting, is actually going to delay the liquidity for this market right now. All right, so that's what we're getting from gold. I'm going to repeat everything afresh, and we are going to actually touch on that. But right now, I'm just touching different things, and so that we can get that. So the market is supposed to be moving that, and the next landing area that we're going to have is absolutely 4,000. So another area that we're going to have is 4,000. So when the market comes to 4,000, I'm being actually to be talking about this area here for a very long time. This 4,000 that we have here, this 4,000, and actually this is not 4,000. We are supposed to be looking at 39.90. 39.90, that is the area that we're actually supposed to be looking at. You see this region here? This is very incredible area here. This one, this area here from let me drop it perfectly. Let me have it perfect. Let me have this region. This is 4,000 all the way to 30.94. Look at that. This, all of them actually lies to the same point. 39.94. This is another area when this market comes to those region, we are actually going to be buying, unless there's number one, breaking news or a surprise that we may be getting tomorrow. But in case this market is actually going to be moving to that area, you need to be very careful on that area, because that is a that we have so many orders actually been placed on that region, right? So I know my computer is actually going to hang. That's I'm using TradingView right now, because that is what my computers can actually have right now. I'm using it to live stream and all that. But the next one, the month of August, we can actually I'm going to try and upgrade this so that we use a different platform, so that you can see we are going to actually venture into the DOM, because I want to show you how the DOM actually, how the limit orders actually been placed. When you talk about the pending orders, how the people are actually placing their limit orders, how they're actually coming up. And we are going to be using futures. Why? Because those are actually going to be contract and not lot sizes. I don't want to look like a mad person, but that is it. That is actually going to be very simple. So that is what we are going to be checking right now. All right. Now, before that, because I want to be very quick on this, and I'm going to give you signals right now and make sure that you observe them. So that is what we're going to be focusing on. Number one, 40.32, that is going to be a sell point. Number two, if these are three entries for the gold that I'm giving out, that is number one. Another sell actually is going to be happening across this area here, which is 40.75, 40.75. You see this 40.75 here, that's another short. This is another short that can actually happen across this area here. Another short to happen across that area here. All right. So as these three entries, it's either they work all of them or two works. All right. Minimum two, or all of them are going to be working out. So observe those areas. So that is another sell to be taking place across this area, 40.75. Mark that well. And 4,000, that is the area that we're going to be, 39.90 actually. From that 990 to 4,000, that's another buy that we're going to be having. So the market, when market comes around this area here, we are going to make sure that is that 994. We are going to make sure that we buy from that region. Right, that is the area that you're going to be buying. Our stop loss can be, let's put our stop losses slightly at this area here, because the market, once it drops, this is actually going to be moving to that 958. So we can put in the window of that, which is actually going to be 20 down, which is actually 20, which is supposed to be that 974. That is going to be our buying area that you're going to be focusing on. So those are three entries. Two sell points and one long that we actually got from that. Okay, that is gold. I know there are a lot of things to explain here, but structurally that is what we have. But don't forget the daily time frame that we have analyzed. On the daily time frame, we have said that what is actually going to be happening on this market. Don't forget with the daily time frame. Don't forget daily time frame and 4-hour time frame, because you have seen now the market and how gold is actually moving right now. Right? One more thing. There are a lot of things, but I need to share a few things here. I need to to share a few things here before we move on. As now we observe gold, I want us to check on the Nasdaq right now. Then we move on. Then we are going to get back to the gold, right? We are going to get back. We are going to get back. I want to give a signal on Nasdaq now. Remember, those are 3 entries on gold, so we need to check apart from. I know there are some people who don't trade gold. So what's happening with the Nasdaq? So you remember what is called the AI bubble, all right? The AI bubble is what has actually been happening. Is like a hype. You've seen about hype. Hey, we are buying because AI is actually performing so good. The AI is actually moving so nice. And that is the same thing that has actually been happening in the AI. That's why you see the stocks was actually moving crazy. Like Nasdaq hitting that 1,000 US, that is already up. And the reason the Nasdaq is actually affecting so much, because if you look at this right now, USD is not actually affected. USD is not actually affected much like Nasdaq. USD is not actually affected much like Nasdaq. Yeah, because Nasdaq is actually the one that comprises these tech companies AI, like Nvidia. If you actually look at the Nvidia right now, it's actually been performing chips and all those things. So AI has actually been receiving this kind of a high bubble like last month, because now you see how it has actually been moving, creating high. Because now the investors are questioning these things. They're asking, we are actually worried. We are actually worried. You know why? We're worried that how you people are spending this money on the AI. If it is in tupeleka mpaka wapi, where are these things taking us? Yeah? There's a lot of questions that are actually coming up, and then you see now the people are really dumping the AI things, and it's actually one big of support for Nasdaq. As you know, Nvidia is the biggest and the top that actually drives the one that actually drives the Nasdaq so much. And that's why we are checking also, anytime we are checking the Nasdaq, you should be checking what is known as you should be checking on the earnings, right? And remember this, the earnings are actually next month. Earnings are actually next month. So on that day of earnings, I know that a lot of things that are going to be happening on that day, because maybe that is the thing that is going to be the reversal, or maybe that week is the one that can actually be a very big reversal for the Nasdaq. All right, so you need to focus on this. Write down the Nasdaq earnings, of course, earning report that is going to be released next month. That is really very important, because it's going to tell us this quarter, because it's released 4 times. That is quarterly. 4 times are here. All right, quarterly, after every 3 months. The last one was May. The last one was May. So the next one that we're going to be getting is August, and August is actually next month. It's not next month, is actually from next week. So you need to check on the date, and on that date you need to see how the market is actually going to be performing, because right now we are experiencing this downside here. So maybe the earnings report is the one that is actually going to be saving us from all this mess. All right, that is maybe that is going to be saving us from this. Now look at that. That is why the Nasdaq is actually moving all the way down. If you look at the silver, the same thing, metal things are actually being dumped right now, because all the same, there's a how all this is actually correlated with each other. I'm not going to explain everything, but I want us to technically see how the Nasdaq is really performing right now, because this is very critical. This is very critical. Number one, I want to repeat this again. If you ever see Nasdaq down, don't just say that the Nasdaq is actually going to collapse. There's nothing. This is not Bitcoin. This is not Terra Luna. This is not Terra Luna, my friend. This is not Terra Luna that's actually collapsed to zero. This is Nasdaq, and you always know that Nasdaq is going to be coming back. Whatever happens to Nasdaq is going to be coming back. Is going to be coming back. Look at that big move. That is what you need to understand. On the daily time frame, that's how the Nasdaq's actually been doing. But Nasdaq, there's no guarantee it's going to be coming back, because this is something that is involving the most of investing. We have so many people who are actually not traders, who are actually involved in the stock market. They're not interested in this. They're not traders, and that is what makes the stock market and all these Nasdaq actually to be something very amazing. You know, something very amazing. I don't know whether you understand this, because think of it like the stock market. Like, for example, you in our country, there are so many people who are buying Safaricom shares, just buying, because you don't want to know where the stocks are right now. You just buying because the stocks maybe are down. You just buy, and those are actually the majority of people. Those people normally retire in the US. They are putting their retirement funds in the stock market, right? They're just putting them. Maybe they have segregated some amount of money to be moving to the stock market every now and then. So the market is actually moving up and up and up without even revisiting some of the areas. It's not like gold that involves most of speculators. So you meet most of this. We have few speculators when it comes to the investment, and it makes things very crazy here. I don't know whether you understand that, but anyway, let's proceed. Let me explain now in the chart form so that you may be able to understand. Okay, don't worry if you don't see the candlesticks. That is the most important. That is not even important right now. If you look at that, the strategy that you've been using on gold is actually not that accurate compared to what we actually normally see on the ground, because you can see if this moves up, it can actually move up. Like, for example, when we moved from this 16,000, the market moved all the way to 25,000 without even revisiting again. That is 22,000 from this point. Did not revisit this area. You can see again the market moved all the way to around this is actually 30,000 without revisiting this area here of 26,000. And if the market is going to be moving to 26,000, that is going to be crazy, but make sure that you actually buy from that. So this is simple. It's a simple thing that I'm giving you right now. There's something I want to put in you right now. Like, if you are investor right now, this is the right time to start buying the Nasdaq, right? I'm not talking about, or maybe you can actually even go and buy Nvidia and all sorts of things. So this is the right time to not buy someone who really want to make profit tomorrow. Just buy and hold for a very long time. It can actually be even in the next 3 months. In the next 3 quarters, things are really going to be crazy here. So between 26,000, if the market actually crosses between 27 and 26,000, that is the perfect area for you now to invest in on this really market right now. But before 5 p.m., what do we expect from this market on the highest FM? But do you really get that one? That is what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about right now. That is what I'm talking about. That message was actually for different people, right? If you move to 4-hour time frame, we are going to see things on a different day. We're going to see this on a different way, right? Let me read the questions, please, so that we can proceed. Apologies, I forgot to read your questions. On the open interest zones, how do you get the ranges? What are those ranges? So we're going to check that. Forex, this is financial market. Actually, we have not touched on Forex. This is a problem that we normally say I'm a Forex trader, whereas even I don't remember the last time I traded foreign currencies. I'm trading the financial market. Please drop your WhatsApp number for the program. I'm going to put my number here. So you normally start with so I don't WhatsApp people on Telegram. I don't remember even the last time. So if someone to contact you on Telegram, that knows me. TikTok as well. That's not going to be me. All right. Okay. So yeah, so that is what we are getting right here. Now, before even we move to that, I wanted us to look at this on the Nasdaq. I wanted us to check on the Nasdaq thing, then we are going to get back quickly. We already trading. This is how many minutes? How many minutes? I want to keep it on time. Okay. All right, let's see what we get on the Nasdaq right now. Let's see what we have on the Nasdaq. You remember the same thing I have actually shared on this. This is how the Nasdaq is really moving right now. So if I just draw, let's say a trend, this is how the market is moving right now. I don't want to touch that, but this is crazy because there's no pattern towards that, unless maybe we connect between the last. This the low that you get here, that is actually what happened when the inflation risk. Wow, this is what happened once the inflation risk. This is what happened to the inflation risk when they ran, and when that was actually moving on. So that is what we have been getting. So let's see whether that area matters right now, or that what we have. Can we, let's include that. So yeah, that's valiant. That's a valiant one. That's a valiant one because we have this point, we have this touch. Okay, I have this. I have these two. You need to relax on this, and you need to make simple things very simple as possible. You need to make things as simple as possible. I want to see a reaction around that area here. I want to see a reaction around this area. 3 touches, 4 touches are really enough. So from that point, I need to see at least Nasdaq buying from that point. But that is just the next area that we can just be targeting is this region. This is actually going to be 48. We actually end a sell around, it was actually 28,600. We end a sell around that area here. So our next target is going to be 28,300. Our next target is actually going to be 28. The market has already moved towards this zone that we really have here. So this is not actually a proof, but we need a support. We need to see the market reacting before now we buy from this area. So for the Nasdaq, I'm going to leave it like that, but we have a possibility. You can actually go and mark that zone because there's a likelihood the market is actually going to move and react from that area, meaning we can actually be getting from this area towards 28,300. That is what we can be getting from that. But also tomorrow is going to be very of effect towards this, because you know the interest rate and the relationship between the interest rate and the stock market. You know that, you know what happens. So it's very simple. Let me explain this for people who don't know. What is the relationship between the interest rate and the stock market, and why do we normally get things like that? So let me keep it simple. It's very simple. It's very simple. This is what happens. This is what happens, right? And put this in your mind. So once the Fed increases the interest, right? Once it increases the interest rate, it's like, for example, increasing the is increasing the bond. You know, for example, the government bonds, you know about the government bonds, yeah? So if the government bonds, they post a government bond, at a higher interest. If the Fed increases the interest, it's like, for example, increasing, of course, which is the one. It's like increasing the government bond. That means, of course, we are increasing the interest rate of. It's like I'm giving you much interest if you give me money. So the government bond is where people give them money to the government and then at a fixed rate of percentage, right? So for example, if the government increases that rate, the bond becomes so much attractive to wananchi, like the people who are actually going to be giving money to the government, like me and you. So if the government bonds are going to be more attractive, what are you going to do? We have so many investors in the stock market. What are they going to do? The shares, they're going to abandon those money, and they're going to be, the bond is actually going to be more kind of secure investment and better investment than the stock market. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to dump stock, of which now the stock indices are asked to move down, and then they move where? They move to bond market. That's why when you go and see how the pound is reacting to this, if for example I click here right now and click 10-year pound or 2-year pound for the US, you're going to see what is going to be happening here is you're going to see pound is actually going to be, you're going to see pound is actually moving up, because now the pound is opposite of the stock. Pound is always opposite of stock. There's one thing that you need to understand there, because I'm giving you this one thing. Pound can move down. If you, for example, right now, you see the stock market and the stock indices are real down. If you see the pound moving up quickly, like for example today and tomorrow, and still the Nasdaq is still down, on the third day, wait for Nasdaq to explode and move up. And what does that tell you? That the pound can be a signal. Sometimes they can actually move even before the market reacts. It means, woo, the pound can give you up. Is what is it known? Can give you a warning that this is what the market is actually going to be tomorrow. Like imagine getting a indicator that actually shows you what is going to be happening to something before even it happens. It's crazy, and that is pound. You can actually check on that, and that is what normally happens. So pound is one that you need to concentrate here. We are going to check on the pound, but that is what I'm waiting to see. Let's see what's happening to the gold. It is still trending at 40.27, but the problem that we're experiencing between today and tomorrow is the problem now we're going to be experiencing between on and continually is actually going to be, the problem is going to be the liquidity that you are going to be getting. All right, so those are 4 entries that we have confirmed. 4 of them. You know, I can have 10 entries, then I just filter them out. Because you have not checked on currencies, Euro USD, I'm going to filter them out. And then we remain with only 3 of them, but we're not going to be doing that here. So let's focus on this, and I want to receive some questions on this because I know you have several questions on this. So how do you trade this? Is it by using brokers or what? Yeah, most of the time we use, I want us to talk until the gold actually moves up. I'm waiting for gold to move up. I'm waiting for gold to move to 40. I'm waiting for gold to move to 40.43, or if it moves back to 40,000 or 39.94, we are going to buy. Either way, You can see now we have almost a guarantee that in case the market moves up or down, we are going to have at least one entry. But I know that is not going to happen. In case the market moves to that area there of 40.43 to 44.50, that is an entry. Market continues to move 40.75, another sell, and buy across 4,000. Those are areas that you're going to focus on. It's really very important. Now, how do you check those ranges? Which ranges? I don't understand. Someone asked me about the ranges. I did not get about the ranges, but in case maybe you're missing something here, you can still go and check that on the previous videos that we have done here. You're actually going to understand them even more clearly. You're going to understand them even more clearly on what we actually have been talking about. Yeah, so I want to check something else here. On the whole exchange, I want to see where the contract has actually been handing the last, that is yesterday. This zeros. $40.50 remains our critical area. 40, 42, 40, 15 still remains our critical area that you're waiting to see the market moving. When you check that, we have the market is looking like the market is actually very slow. So I don't know whether we are going to be waiting for that throughout, but that is what we are getting. Very slow, very slow, very slow. The market is just very slow. I'm waiting to see how is this candles. Let's now analyze on candles and see what we have. I think candles are still perfect because 40.42 is really very close. We are still going to be moving up. Right now is 40.25. After checking this type of candles, this what we have, this candle moved up still, I think. Yeah. So this candle is actually not supposed to move past 22. We are not supposed to move past below 20. We are not supposed to move below 20. So if we keep it 25, then we're actually going to be moving to 40.45. We're actually going to be moving to 40.42 there. So right now at 40.25, expect the market to jump up again right now. Expecting for that. Lower liquidity is of course expected, maybe at least a New York session. That is when we can actually get at least things maybe resuming to at least a small normal 40, it's known as 40 for New York session, and when there's an overlapping. $40.26. So we are going to be moving up. We are going to be moving up right now. The market is going to be buying. The candle is actually going to create. It's going to move up. It's going to move up. This I'm expecting it to cross 34. Then across 34, then we get to the top 40.40. This one thing is you cannot use the whole change to determine the market change. You cannot do that. You cannot use that. let me tell you, this is not a court report. On the court report, you know who are long, who are short. These are not short numbers, but if you really want to filter that out, you need to move the delta. Then you can filter some things out in case you are not getting them to filter out to see now. At least you see now at least under startup up and at least people who are on speculating in the markets could be moving up and that. But if you're going to miss gamma, delta, or e change and all that, then of course unders removing and ending, then you're going to know at least the direction where the market is actually going to be moving. So it's actually quite simple. So I'm waiting for this market, this candle to of course move up. I think that is what you are getting here. So you're going to see the market come into 40.42, although it is just slow, but I think we are almost moving to that phase. If you're actually going to be getting that, it's actually going to be very nice. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. So if you're joining us for the first time, ensure that you like and subscribe. You make sure that you turn on notification bell. It's really very important because you'll be notified anytime we upload new videos. Trust me, you're going to learn institutional knowledge here in this page. All right. There are some people who did not check on the liquidity. Make sure that you check on the liquidity because I know we have not used the concept of liquidity here. We have not used the concept of liquidity, but we can still use it, or the concept of liquidity as well. What is that? You can still check that. So let's see, 40.26. There's a lot of liquidity in this market. So I don't know what if we can still wait for the market to touch that. Joseph, the negative OE tend to me that the orders are being withdrawn from the strike and vice versa. Please clarify. I think you have not watched my videos. I think you have not. I think you have not watched that because we already explained what are those OE changes, what are they, what are those concept means, what are they. Everything I have explained that. So the market is actually having lower liquidity in that area, but there's another one confirmation that we can still hand to see the activity of now people are trading on this. And number two, we're going to be using different thing here. I'm going to move to another chart because I'm going to use something different. So I normally use the hub, but if I'm going to use hubs, there's going to be a problem here. So let me show you what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using now features, okay? All I think let me use this, although it's going to be delayed, although it's going to be delayed, I'm going to be using G1, GC from COMEX. Yep. So the one that we're going to be seeing here are not going to be lot sizes, they're actually going to be contract. So let's see how many contracts are doing traded in those areas and what we are going to be getting. Let's see, this is from so I'm going to be using now the volume profile in this scenario. I'm going to be using the volume profile. So this was from that place, so we are going to hand, I'm going to hand new one. So if you're using the volume profile, this is what you need to do. Don't just drop it all the way from this to this place. There's one thing that you need to do. Drop it from far, at least where the prices should be, at least as the center. You need to focus on the higher side and the lower side and not at the current price. So in case maybe I take it from, if I take it from this point here to the current price, it's like, for example, taking it all the way down, it's counting all the way to the, as well, to the current price, which is actually this price here. This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm getting. This contract from COMEX. This is a contract that we getting from this. Yeah, so let's see whether we have the pivot point is actually, this is big. I want to move to daily time frame. That's big. That's big. That's big. That's big. That bigger one. Yes. Okay. I'm supposed to take it from this period all the way to that, but let's try this current from this place here. I don't know that that's going to work. I don't like it like that. So we're going to take it again. This is not correct way though, because the price can move downside. Now remember, we used to, which price was that? 40.50. This 40.43. This is it, around this area here, 146. This contract, I think once the market approaches this area here, but there's a bigger one across this area, 40.58. So we cannot put our stop. We cannot put. So we need to adjust this area. This is the region. Yeah, I think that was really nice because this is 61. That's why now our stop loss is actually at a very nice area. Our stop loss is located 40.60, 61, so around 40.62. That's a very nice, good area. That's a very nice area, as you can see. You can see negatives on us around those area here. You can see that's where the market actually approached this area. All these are sales point. All these one at 554 here. You can see some small buys across this area market. This area again, the market boom. This is because of low volume noise. The also market is actually moving. So that's what you're getting. So I'm getting still our area, our zone is still valid. Our entry point are still valid, which ones are to be placed around this zone here. But in case the market moves to 48.58, then it's still valid from that area there. So that is I'm putting it like that one. So this is where we have value area low. This is 40.50. That can actually be a resistance. That can be actually a rejection. 40.50 that we had actually been talking about. Yeah. If we can actually move this all the way, maybe it's going to clarify us. We're going to get more clarifications, but that is what I wanted to check on. That is not that clear. The market liquidity is not really good, but still that is what you're getting. So maybe by the end of the day, we are going to be getting that three of them. So those are 3 entries, and that is what I'm going to be waiting to see from this market right here. All right. Now, let's see what we can get from that. I just give it time. Just give it time. Give it time. Remember now, we have seen something across this area here, 40.53. So our first entry can be 40.42, 40.45, and 40.50. We can have 40.50 as well as. Then we focus 4,000 as the market is going to be moving down. So those are going to be our entry point. So I'm going to as well mark our entry here, exit 4,000, and then our exit is going to be 62 here. That is what we're going to have. Now, you have 4 entries right now. You have 4 entries, right? You have 4 entries. You have 4 entries. Keep observing those entries. Look at that. Look at that. Oof. I wanted to end this, but let's see whether the market is going to move to that region. We have 4 entries right now that we're going to be focusing on. 4 entries. Now, look at them keenly. Look at those entries carefully, because I think that is what the market. The market is actually going to be moving towards that area. Keep watching 4042 to 4015. That is the area that you're going to be focusing on. That area there. The market is going to cross that area. We are going to sell, and there's another possible area for selling: 4075, 4075, 4015. That's actually going to be the selling point. The market is actually going to, and we are going to be focusing 4,000, because the market is going to be buying from 39.90. The market is going to be buying from 39.90. That is a zone that I'm going to be waiting for this market to buy from, those areas. All right. Yeah. Ensure that you follow me right now. Ensure that you follow me right now, and you can actually follow me on TikTok, DUN AUREX right now. Make sure that you follow me on TikTok, DUN AUREX. Follow me right here on YouTube. I'm going to be uploading the next video. Look at that big move that we have there. So this market is actually going to be, and then the market touches that area, and then we are actually going to be selling from that area. We are going to be selling from that. We are going to be selling from that. Tomorrow, I think I'll be live here again. Tomorrow, I'm going to be live here. So tomorrow, we're going to try and come live until at least I need us to focus at least, at least entire week of live trending, so that we can have this follow-up of every trend that we're going to be having. Of every trend that we're actually going to be having. So if you look at that, the market is moving, and that is what I was expecting to be getting from this. That is my expectations. That is what I'm expecting to get. Let me move this here. Nasdaq, let me see the reaction of Nasdaq, because remember we sent Nasdaq from 27, those areas. There's likelihood the market is going to be buying from that area there. We are at 27,800. So also the Nasdaq has created another big candle on this area here. So that is what we are getting. Not that, not this, not this. This is actually kind of investment that you need to have. This, look at that. I'm expecting actually this big candle, and the last area that you can expect is at least this market to come to 28,290. Maybe that is it that you can actually see. So that is the Nasdaq, and yeah, look at what is happening on the gold. Let's wait, because now they see the price. Let's now see how the price is really going to be, because I think we are almost there. We are almost there. We are almost to the place. We are almost there. So if the market touches that, then we are going to put that on small time frame. We are going to use that 15. We are still on the, actually we are on the 15-minute time frame. We are almost there. That is what $390, $10. We're going to have our first sell. The next $10, we're going to have our first sell. We're going to have our first sell. That is 34. We're going to have our first sell. Almost there. We are almost there. We are almost there. How do you How do you use Scott report? How do you use Scott report? How do you use Scott report? Scott report is the easiest thing, but you need to know how to just analyze the data so well. So I've released some videos here, but they were incomplete. So I'm going to maybe post another masterclass for that. We did that thing of court report on live. We did the court report thing on TikTok live, but we are going to redo it again. We are going to redo it again. We are going to do it, but I'm going to be doing it again on a live session because TikTok thing is different. Let's see. Let's wait and see. Ish. I'm waiting for that price. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting to see the price. I'm waiting to see that. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see the price hit those values all the way to the top. 43, 44, 44. Brent oil is at 84. That's actually very high because you can see now the price is really moving up, and that is actually one of the causes of the Nasdaq to even move down right now, because that is another uncertainty. Of course, that is why you can see the Brent is actually moving up. 84 is really up again from 70s that was actually been talking about. That is high. That is high. That is high. So the Brent oil is the price of oil that is actually used to. So every price of every country, the price of oil of every country, normally the reference price is actually the Brent oil. So normally we check on that. So it's really very important. So we are moving up. Let's see whether we get that. I want to see whether we can actually have the first entry, because we're saying those are the areas. So you see, want to if at least one signal can materialize here. I want to see whether the one signal is going to materialize on this. I think I've answered all the questions, but there are some of them that I cannot do here because there are bigger topics that we can talk about. Something like court report, I cannot do that. I cannot like get back and explain everything about the CME because already I've done like master classes of that several times. I think almost 5 videos of that. I've done a video on liquidity. I have done a video on the Nasdaq, what things to check on the Nasdaq. I've done that. We have checked like every topic you're asking is actually a different class. Yeah. Now the problem is, you know, some people are actually coming to my inbox, teach me CME, teach me this thing. You know, it's actually very hard. Like, what do I do with that? Like, can I take you? You cannot. Can I take? What can I do? Like, you know, I teach you like free. Like, you know, how can you do that? Like, I don't understand. You can imagine how many people just maybe can reach me out to teach them different things. Someone want to get started in trading, someone want this, someone want that, and do I really put them for free on that? But if you charge people at least even the smallest amount, $100, they say, you know, why don't you, you know, you are the one who is having problems. So I'm still okay, but we are still moving. So look at that, that is 34, and I think we have a problem right there. So I'm still waiting for that candle to move all the way to the next like 10, now almost $80, and then we have our first sell point across that zone. Then it's going to really be amazing. Look at that move, look at that move. So around 42. So let me we can actually even try and let me show you where the market is actually going to move in. So it's actually trying to correct that move. So a small one that has just happened, the next candle, because it's 15-minute time frame, is actually going to take her to that level. So am I ready for that? Let me see. How much do I have? Which account can I use here to have the entry? I have, I'm not going to use the profile right now. I have this is okay. Jesus, we are back again. Let me show you what I'm going to do here. We're still going to be moving up to 30. That is the price. That is that one, 40, that one. I'm going to be moving up. So that candle is actually going to move up. Let me show you. Let me show you how it's going to react after filling this. So the maximum maybe I can give it is here. So let me change this color to dark, to this, okay, and then that way. Oof, we are back to 28 now. That is the 28, around 28 now. The market is going to, you see this one that I drew here is actually going to touch this and now start to try and move up again. From that note, 29 now. Let's move 28. Let me have a small buy from 29. That is below 30. Okay, that's from 29. Let me have a small buy from there, 29. Let me have a small buy and wait, because I'm waiting to see the price actually moving up so that we can have a bigger sell at the top. That is what we're waiting to see. This is crazy. I don't expect that candle to move below that. I'm expecting once this now moves after this one, I'm expecting now that this will move towards the top. Expecting the market to move to the top. Let's see what we get. But at 29, a small entry. I'm waiting to see the price moving up. This was a small one, waiting for the price to move up. Let's see what we're going to be getting from Mr. Gold. Oh, Jesus. Nasdaq is at 27,858. Remember, once we cross 28, we have that zone that we actually highlighted on this. I mean, I think it's going to be amazing as well once we hit that. What? Are we not going to get to 42? Because that is the area that we're waiting for. 32, 42. I'm waiting for 42, and I think this candle is actually going to take us to that zone right now. So we need to talk about something before we close this over, before we move to that. I'm going to be trying to answer. There's someone who was asking about the court report, because I'm not going to talk about things that's not asked me about. But before that, allow me to check on. Allow me to check now on. Allow me to check on the 2-year round on CBOT. This is futures. I need to check on US to USO to. This is Stivet. I don't like this broker though, but we can just use it. Huh? No problem. No problem. This is 2-year round. You see now, you see. Look at that. This is what has actually been making the look like that. If you actually compare this, you're going to see how things are really moving here. And I think there might be actually a surprise. We might be getting surprise from interest rate. We might be getting a surprise on the interest rate. We might actually be getting a surprise on that. We might actually be getting a surprise. We might be getting a surprise. It's actually going to be crazy. Might be getting a surprise on that. That's something for another day. But come on. 28, 29. I'm waiting to see bigger things here. I was looking for that. I'm going actually to just analyze this and maybe give a video on TikTok or YouTube on what we expect here, the connection that we have on the stock market, yeah, all those things, and then I'll just be posting it here on 30, yeah, this week. So make sure that you follow me and subscribe. That is really going to be amazing. The one who was asking me about the court report, that commitment of traders. I've posted it here, but the most important thing that you need to understand is very simple. That there's a report that is released on, you can get it as well on the CME group. And of course, you need to do some few calculations for you to drive on where the market has a chances of moving. Okay, let's give you a speculations on how the institutions are actually entering on the futures market. That's another thing. For example, if you're talking about gold, we have producers, we have speculators, we have managed money, you know, we have retail traders, yeah, known as non-reportables. We have bigger guys who are trading the market, known as reportables. Those are things that you need to know. Who are those people? And then you can just know what you are going to be entering in this market. It's actually very simple and easy and simple. What is happening around that area? I'm just wondering. I don't know whether now we close this, because I've tried, and or we just give it time, or we give it time for the market to come to that area, and then we have our sell point. I don't know what we can just do, because don't know whether we wait or close the position, and then we can review again tomorrow. Let's do this. So let's do this. Let's do this because you see this candle that you see here, this candle here, this one, that candle there, this one. That candle that you see is actually going to be moving up and is going to cross all the way. It's actually going to cross all the way. It's actually going to move all the way up. That's why I bought a small position at 29. I'm very serious. Hey, at that camera focus, yes, you can see I just bought it at that area here, which is, and you can see it is running right now. It is $48 that we are running on profit right now. That is the reason I actually bought that area here, because I'm very sure that the market is actually going to be buying from that area. Trust me, it's going to be buying towards that zone. So that is the area I'm waiting to see the market moving to, and then we sell at that point. That is what I'm waiting to see, the market selling to that point. We are $40, but of course I'm going to put it the loss as 28, so it's going to be very close, because you think this market actually moves down all the way to this top here. It's going to be different. It's actually going to be different. If you have not followed me, make sure to follow me right now. Subscribe and follow me on TikTok. Yep. My position is running right now. This account is running right now. It's good. Things are really good. Bought at 29.32 now, but I'm going. The most important area is 42 to 50. 42.50. From 42 and 40.15. That is the area that I'm going to be focusing on. Let's see if that candle is going to take us to that area. If that candle is going to be taking us to that area. You see, now when it comes to the scalping, we can have multiple entries. Like we can have several entries. Many of them are 62. I'm at $60 right now. This is a small account actually just to use here, because I'm going to be using different one. Yep. Yo, 70, 80, we have 33. So I'm going to be closing at the place where we're going to be selling. So once the market touches that, I'm going to be selling, and then we sell. So it's actually converting and buy then. So it's like I'm going now to trail this, that. I'm going to trade this, that. So $100 hit. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. Let's see what we get. I want to see at 42, but you don't just jump to sell once the market touches that area there. I want us to see the market touching that and then we sell. So I've created the stop loss, so in case this market comes down, I'll still be in profit. I'll still be in small profit even if it comes back. Anytime I'm trying to close this live, I think it's like now the gold is moving up, and that is what we're waiting. That candle is going to take us up, and that is what I'm waiting to see. Another candle just opened. Let's see what we are going to get. This just one move and then we are in. Just one single move like this, we are in. Even if we just make $100 from this, it's really going to be amazing. Yeah, but I'm still floating on a very positive result here. because of buying at below 30. So yeah, thank you. 120. I'm closing at 36, then I prepare for the next one. That is 6. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? You don't need for the entry. I'm ready for that. I'm closing at 36. Of course, I'm closing at 36. I'm closing the first profit at 36. That is what you're having. I'm closing at 36. Yeah, 36. $130. So $130. So that's now I hit. Then I take the short. Once the market now start moving down, right? 100, I've closed 130. That is buying from this area here, from the top down here all the way to this, all the way up. And I think if you have actually joined our last analysis that we have been doing specifically for scalping, it's always been fun. Like having scalping is always fun. Let me tell you, scalping is always fun. Scalping is always fun. Now, sometimes the problem with the scalping with the YouTube is when there's what we call now the delay. That delay is really because this video has to be sent to the satellite, to the YouTube satellite, then it comes to you back. It's crazy always. And let me prepare for that. The first entry at 40. Can I actually start even from 40? I don't know whether I start from 40, but I said I'm going to start from 42. So I'm remaining with the 42. Once we hit 42, then we have our entry point. Dismas, thank you so much for the positive feedback. Thank you. Hey, let me put some music and then we wait for this.
in my mind all day, sipping herbal in the morning just to feel okay. Had a dream I was water just flowing through space, till I landed on the record that my grandma would play. Talk sweet like jazz in the park after rain. What a grass smell green and the air feels sane. Put the phone on mute, let the silence explain. I don't need much, just a book in the brain. Used to chase things that were run from me. Now I sit still, let the peace come free. Paint a verse in the sky with a loose leaf. While the moon do a dance with a soft oak tree. Let it ride, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on three. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. I've been good, I've been gone, I've been lost in the loops. Got a hoodie and some headphones, walking with truths. Ain't no answers in the feed, just noise and flex. But I found God once in a vinyl set. Talk slow when I speak, let the moment stretch. Learn peace ain't found, it's a thing you protect. Yeah, I vibe like water, I change and shift. But the roots still deep like my grandma's grits. City move fast, but I drift like smoke. Let the rhythm in my chest be the way I cope. Wrote a song for the days that feel soft and broke. Where the healing don't shout, but it still got hope. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on three. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on three. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back.
I want, oh, Jesus. We are waiting for the price to come up, but understand this, that today and tomorrow things are really going to be different. I know right now the market is supposed to be up already, but the problem is liquidity and all those things. So that's what we're waiting to see. Now, because of that, allow me to just exit this because so now of the time, I think we have live streamed almost 2 hours. Almost 2 hours around. Let me check this. Almost 2 hours. If it's 2 hours, we need to get out. Yes. Almost 2 hours, and I think that is really great. Like that is really great. That is really very great. Like this is very great, you know. And that is what we do. At least if you can just find better entries, scalping, that is what we're going to be doing. Like you can scalp anytime I announce live, you know, we can scalp. We find some good entries as well, and then we just need to enter this market. A lot of things right here, but the most important thing is applying as well what you have learned. You know, there we have a lot of things that you need to understand on this market, like how do you apply the real knowledge that we are now learning to implement on this. Some people don't even know what is breaking, how other things are connected to each other, what to, like right now, if I just ask you, can you concentrate with the street of Amus interest rate? How do you, because even interest rate down does not matter because the market is already priced in. Jesus, the market is already priced in already. So there are lots of things that are really happening. So you need to know how to connect all those things. You can absolutely learn them from here, free of charge. All you just need subscribe and subscribe. Take me to all the way to the top, and then we can continue doing this. We can still continue making money on this. So it's an easy task, but patience. You can see how I'm actually relaxed here, waiting for the market to hit that. But I know most of mistakes that I've actually been doing past is actually entering and all doing all those sort of mistakes, and you end up blowing the account so easily. So I'm going to give still this market a chance to move up right now, and to around 40, 42, 40, 50. But in case anything changes from that, anytime can just happen. Maybe Trump on the truth social can come and say anything. So you need to be very alert on anything that is actually being broadcast and out for you to know if that region of US is still valid and whether you can just enter. In case the market comes to that area, make sure that you switch to 5-minute time frame. You need to observe few things technically to see how you need to enter that area if it's perfect one. But of course, when the market hit that, is a very nice area for you even to start entering already. All right, subscribe right now, follow me on YouTube, TikTok, I repeat again, and I'll see you again tomorrow same time, 2 p.m. Let me see you again 2 p.m. so that because we see how this market will have reacted on this. Make sure that you do that. 2 p.m. tomorrow. 2 p.m. tomorrow. 2 p.m. tomorrow. Let's be here. All right. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Prepare your questions. Thank you so much for those. Let me just shout out to these friends of mine. You are all my friends. Let me shout out to you for commenting and doing all this stuff. Saint Poppy, I hunted the buy and got something. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And this month's Gumo, thank you so much for your questions. Monarch, thank you. I see you. Aaron Hussein, Jospat Kimodo, big up. Victor, KE, I see you. Deepak, tunaona kesho. Hiyo swali umeniuliza kesho. Tomorrow we are going to do that. Prosper, thank you so much for commenting. Forex Geeks, thank you. Josephine Gemani, thank you. Aimo Kenya, thank you so much. And Patrick Womboy, I'll see you guys. Albert, thank you. Bunik, thank you so much. Musa, I see you. Gilbert, yes, I see you all. Thank you so much. Love from India. Tips, thank you so much. Hey, all the way from India. 2 p.m. is in East African time, so you can convert from 2 p.m. East African time. I don't know which clock Indian use. I don't know whether it is GMT, but get that right. Thank you so much. Learned something today. Owen Safar, thank you so much, Owen. And I will see you again tomorrow. I know there are some people who have been here and they've not commented, but I'll see you again tomorrow. You are still part of us. So even if you've not really typed a comment section there, I know we have so many silent followers. I normally get them. I normally meet also on the street so much silent followers, and they always give me positive result, and that is what makes me happy. When you give me a positive feedback on maybe if this information is just helping you, but make sure that it's just helping you to get money and not knowledge. This knowledge is you cannot take it anywhere. You need to make money with it. If you're not making money with it, then it is useless, right? It is useless. If you're not making money with this knowledge of trading, then this information, all of it is useless. You need to utilize this information to make money. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. The market, the gold is really back to 29 again. So we made money from that, and I closed at 36. Maybe that was for today, and tomorrow again I'll be coming back to see how the market is going to be reacting from that zone. I see you there again.
In the back, I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. Let it ride, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought runs free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on 3. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. margins of my mind all day. Sipping herbal in the morning just to feel okay. Had a dream I was water just flowing through space, till I landed on the record that my grandma would play. Talk sweet like jazz in the park after rain. What the grass smell green and the air feels sane. Put the phone on mute, let the silence explain. I don't need much, just a book in the brain. Used to chase things that would run from me. Now I sit still, let the peace come free. Paint a verse in the sky with a loose leaf. While the moon do a dance with a soft oak tree. Let it ride, let it be, let it be what it be. Got a breeze in my chest and a thought run free. I don't rush, I don't race, I just float on three. Got a vibe in my soul, got a life on key. Let it ride, let it breathe, let it roll like that. Got the world in my cup and the beat in the back. I don't stress, I don't fold, I just lean on facts. If the sun don't shine, I'ma still bounce back. I've been good, I've been gone, I've been lost in the loops. Got a hoodie and some headphones, walking with truths. Ain't no inches in the feed, just noise and flex. But I found God once in a vinyl set. Talk slow when I speak, let the moment stretch. Learn peace ain't found